And for all the latest developments from India, I'm now joined by our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, who joins me live from New Delhi. Siddhant, a very good morning to you. This indeed is a very, very depressing day for not only India, but for the entire world. I'm also joined in by our Pakistan Bureau Chief, Anas Malik, who joins me live from Islamabad. I'll quickly go across to Siddhant for now. Siddhant, we're just getting in all the reactions from across the world, especially the United States, how important it is for the entire world and for United States and India to actually galvanize the global opinion on this at the moment.
Well, it's very important, and we have seen comments flowing since late last evening, in fact, and we have seen how the regional countries were the first countries to react. The Nepalese Prime Minister was the first foreign leader to call on the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and then we saw comments coming from Australia, Turkey, UK, France, Germany, and of course the United States, where the State Department and the White House both issued a press statement and mentioned Pakistan and said that Pakistan should not provide safe haven to terrorist infrastructure, something that has been a cause of worry for Kabul and New Delhi. But the only country that has maintained silence is China. Beijing hasn't reacted still, and when the entire development happened yesterday at around 3:30, we saw reactions pouring in. The ambassadors here in New Delhi took to Twitter to immediately condemn the attack. But one ambassador stood out, that is the Chinese ambassador, who's very good at Twitter, and he's tweeting things very frequently, but he is silent. He hasn't reacted. It shows what India has been saying. We saw the press statement by Ministry of External Affairs hitting out at Islamabad, but also calling on China without mentioning the name. It said that the international community should list Masood Azhar, who is the chief of Jaish-e-Mohammed, under the United Nations Security Council, list the 1267 committee.
Siddhant, you rightly mentioned that China has been maintaining a silent stance at the moment. Why is that so at the moment? Because I want to know, despite warming of relations between India and China, especially in the year 2018, why isn't China condemning Masood Azhar, and why is it blocking India and the United States' efforts from blacklisting him in the UN?
To use a phrase from the Pakistani Foreign Ministry vocabulary, all-weather friends, the all-weather friendship between Islamabad and Beijing. We know a crucial economic project goes through Pakistan. That's the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which China needs to connect itself, the western part of China, to Arabian Sea and, of course, West Asia. That is one of the reasons. And, of course, we have seen how India and China relationship, the dynamics have been working. 2017 was perhaps the worst year because of the Doklam crisis, and 2018 both the countries made sure that there is no reputation. The ties are reset. There was this Wuhan spirit. Both the leaders met 4 times, the Indian Prime Minister and the Chinese President, but China did not change its stance on 2 things. That is, of course, the India's bid for the NSG, and, of course, on the issue of terrorism. China has been repeatedly shielding Pakistan-backed terrorist and terrorism infrastructure. It hasn't been very vocal on it, and we have seen how it has maintained silence 12 hours after the attack in Pulwama. We do expect a reaction from the Chinese side by the Chinese Foreign Ministry as the day progresses, but this is something that India is keenly taking note of.
Right. Siddhant, let me also go across to Anas, who's joining us live from Islamabad. Pakistan has a lot of answering to do, Anas, at the moment. We've seen the press release. They are busy dichotomizing the geographical boundaries of India-occupied Kashmir or Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. There's been uncontrolled firing in Pooch district of J&K. Just by distancing themselves from this terror attack, is Pakistan merely limited to lip service?
Well, certainly, Akansha, you rightly mentioned that Pakistan has a lot to answer on its part. particularly when it comes to this attack, because the Pakistani side, in a very minced statement, in a minced worded statement, it said that it shows it is a matter of grave concern. The Pulwama attack is a matter of grave concern, and at the same time it rejected all of the enunciations. In a matter of 15 minutes, they issued two back-to-back statements. There was not much clarity. Perhaps it was because of the international pressure as well, because at first they said, the first statement that came at about 11:44 Pakistan time in the night, late night statement, it said that Pakistan has condemned acts of terror anywhere in the world. And then the second statement that was issued after a span of about 25 minutes, it said that Pakistan has always condemned heinous acts of terror in the valley. So clearly the Pakistani Ministry of Foreign Affairs was not clear onto the choice of words. Now coming over to the Jaish-e-Mohammed bit and the answering that Pakistan has to do on its bit, something that is very notable is the fact that Mohammed bin Salman is due in Pakistan just in a while from now. He'll be going over to India as well. There's a lot of international pressure that is mounting on Pakistan with regards to this attack as well. That is the reason we saw late night press release coming in. Now Jaish-e-Mohammed or the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar, he continues to roam openly and freely in Pakistan. There is no secret that his seminary, which recently got an upgrade about 8 to 9 months ago, which is located in Bahawalpur in Azam Town area, at a stone's throw from Bahawalpur cantonment, it's expanded to over 1,300 acres of land, and something that amazes one is the fact that the land has been bought by Rauf Azhar, the brother of Masood Azhar. Now Rauf Azhar has been nominated by the state of Pakistan, not by the government of India, by the state of Pakistan, in the FIR of the Pathankot attack. Something that is pretty laughable, that somebody who's been nominated in an FIR, he's the brother of a banned terror outfit chief, and still he's made to allow, and he's allowed to buy land on such a magnified scale. So something that the Pakistani authorities refuse to answer. Now coming over something that also has to be noted is the fact that the Financial Action Task Force is to meet this Sunday. From this Sunday onwards is the plenary meet of the Financial Action Task Force as well, and this will be a point of discussion, a major point of discussion, given that Pakistan has already been in that grey list, and the international bodies would like the Pakistani delegation to have some concrete answers to this act and to this heinous act and this terror attack. Yes, Akansha.
All right, Anas, I just want to ask you these two possibilities that I can't help but link at the moment. The return of Taliban to the political table, also US withdrawing troops, and China repeatedly blocking the United States and India's efforts from blacklisting Azhar. Has that boosted Jaish-e-Mohammed's, to revive itself in J&K after a very long lull?
Well, certainly it has boosted. It does come as a motivator for the Jaish-e-Mohammed, particularly because if we go back in time, the Jaish-e-Mohammed has had a history of meddling into, actively taking part in the Afghan jihad, as what Pakistan classifies that 89 to 90 jihad, and it had breeded a lot of these jihadi elements that it exported from Pakistan, first in Afghanistan, then they got back to Pakistan, and then they were exported to the Indian side of Kashmir as what they proclaimed, and the Pakistani state had back then chest thumped that they were nothing more but freedom fighters. Now with this peace deal with the Afghan Taliban on the table, the probability cannot be ruled out that those particular JEM fighters or JEM terrorists, as one would classify, those who were in Afghanistan, those terror bomb making experts of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the banned terror outfit, they could have been pulled back from Afghanistan and might just have been relocated as well. Now there have been reports, what we can confirm from our sources, that there have been a greater influx over the time of the Uzbeks and Tajiks and the Afghans as well, those who claim to be Mujahideens, and they had been spotted in a lot of number in the Pakistani side of Kashmir. God knows what for for reasons. Though as the Indian side says that they could have been used for terror infiltrating. So clearly that is one of the probabilities that cannot be ruled out. And given the fact that the Pakistani state has at one point supported the Afghan jihad as well. In fact, the late chief of the Pakistan spy agency, General Hamid Gul, he had chest thumped and boasted about the fact that how Pakistan was clearly involved in dislodging the USSR. So back in the day as well, if you go through the history books, the JEM was an integral part of the Afghan jihad, who is now, as what we are being picking up is that they have now been relocated from Afghanistan, giving the peace talks to the Indian side of Kashmir.
Right.
And as a result of this, we are seeing these barbaric attacks on the Indian forces. Yes,
clearly, the Taliban, coming back to the table for negotiations has a direct link with this terror attack. On that note, I'm also getting in a news alert for which I would also like to speak to Siddhant about this. Siddhant, if you can hear me, US experts have raised questions about the role of the Pakistani spy agency ISI in the Pulwama attack. Former CIA analyst Bruce Radel said that this terrorist attack, which has direct footprints inside Pakistan, will pose the first major challenge to Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. Experts have also pointed out at how actively Pakistan-based terrorist groups still operate in Kashmir. Siddhant, if you can hear me on this, your thoughts on this latest news information that's coming in.
Well, it's actually nothing new because we all know ISI has been playing a destabilizing role in the region. Pakistan, of course, is a nuisance which has impacted both New Delhi and, of course, Kabul. And, of course, it's an aberration of history that is bound to go in the dustbin of history. But by and large, right now, it's up to New Delhi to take a strong action. The Cabinet Committee on Security is right now meeting. It was to begin at 9:15, where the Prime Minister, the Home Minister and the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, who is back, who has taken charge and who is back, will be present. We do expect a strong Indian response. Remember, after the Uri attacks, India boycotted the SAARC summit, something that directly hurted the ego of those sitting in Rawalpindi. They are still really angry about India, and along with India, other South Asian countries boycotting the SAARC summit, and we have seen how SAARC is also going towards a location where there is no point of return, and that is why Pakistan is more angry. But by and large, it seems that Pakistan will be more isolated in the region after this terror attack from India, from Afghanistan and rest of the region, because it is not changing its track. It's providing safe haven to terrorists, and it's not even accepting that. We have seen statements coming on, but today will be a long day, and we do expect a strong Indian response and also a Chinese response, something that New Delhi will be keenly awaiting.
Absolutely. Today is going to be a very long day. And as you rightly mentioned, Siddhant, that the Chinese response is something India is keenly awaiting, which is also going to decide the relationship of India and China in the future. But now, thank you so much, Siddhant Sibal and Anas Malik, for joining us and sharing all the precious details from Islamabad and New Delhi.